Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney. We're going to talk about Inside Out 2 being the last hope for Pixar. And there's an article on Box Office Pro saying that they're saying, hey guys, this might be the first $100 million weekend of the summer. This movie could do up to $115 million when it comes out, because they're trying to compare it to the original Inside Out, right?
But that's not great.
That's still not great.
I don't understand like how that's supposed to be a good thing. I don't know.
So it's interesting though, because they're talking about this. This is what the internal projections are on this one. And then as you read the article, the reality sets in where Box Office Pro is even like, hey, yeah, all these other Pixar movies tracked really high too, and they were all bombs. Like they were all quote unquote tracking high, and then they all wound up being disaster after disaster. And Pixar, the brand, is not worth as much as it was back when the first movie came out. So we're going to talk about this. We have a couple of videos coming up today talking about the utter state of the box office, and it's not going to be good, guys. That's all I'm saying. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. If you do, you'll get a woohoo.
Woohoo.
All right, so this is coming from Box Office Pro. Long range forecast. Can Inside Out 2 be the first $100 million opener of 2024?
Wait, they don't think there's going to be another $100 million opener before that?
No, and we have another video. We're going to talk about it. It's not looking good for anybody. Even
it
Planet
really
of the Apes.
isn't. The only one that looked like it was going to be really good was Deadpool and Wolverine.
Deadpool and Wolverine might. The only thing that could hold that one back is being rated R, I think, and just general apathy toward Marvel. Even if it's something that would have been Money in the Bank a couple of years ago, like people are so soured on Marvel at this point that I don't know if they're going to go or not. We'll see. But yeah, at the risk of hyperbole, they said Inside Out 2 may be the film with the most riding on it at the box office in 2024. The Pixar title will be the first new release of the year to hit theaters under the Disney banner in a year where the studio and exhibitors alike are desperately in need of a hit. They said that, yeah, they're basically like everything is riding on this one. They said
the theaters aren't doing well at all. I mean,
no,
the movies are just not doing well.
No, and I think basically you broke Hollywood between shitty movies and the pandemic.
And everyone's touching grass. Weather's nice.
Yeah, everybody's touching grass. They're done. People are over it. I think you basically broke the whole system, and then we had the strike, so now a lot of movies are getting pushed back a year or canceled. Yeah,
but even looking ahead to next year, I'm not seeing a whole lot of like, oh, I have to see it kind of things.
Yeah. But they're saying here, this is what's interesting, because even, Onward did. I mean, they blame the pandemic on that because it came out like a week or two before the pandemic. But all the other movies after that were a disaster. Even Money in the Bank, a Buzz Lightyear origin movie.
Oh, no, see, it's Money in the Bank when it's actually about Buzz Lightyear that everybody knows.
That's it.
That they made it something completely removed from Buzz Lightyear that made no sense whatsoever. How do you go from that to being the movie he supposedly saw to the toy being what it was? Made no sense. People didn't want it.
So this is interesting, though, because it said the pandemic basically broke Disney. They said before the pandemic, Disney was the highest grossing studio at the box office for 4 consecutive years. They said Pixar faced challenges as the box office during the same period it crumbled. They said Onward saw a theatrical run derailed by COVID. So that one I'll give a pass to. It did about $40 million.
Okay, a couple things here.
Opening weekend, yeah.
One thing, you taught audiences you can miss movies and be fine.
Yeah.
Like you were like, oh, you have to see every one. And they realized you didn't. 2, a lot of the phase 4, phase 5 bullshit of Marvel happened after this.
Yeah.
So after, like, post-pandemic was a lot of it. So
and the political posturing, a lot of that
had to do with it too. And I think people are just over it. And they're also tired of the same damn movies as repeated and shows repeated over and over and over again.
Yes. And that's Disney. I mean, they flat out said, like, everything in the pipeline for animation, it's all sequels. It's all sequels. They have, I think that, what was it, Elio? Is that the one original they have?
But it doesn't look very good.
It looks like more Luca. It looks like, I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't look like it's up to snuff.
It's like Strange World meets Luca is what it looks like.
Yeah, and Strange World was a massive misfire. You know, and they're saying, well, Inside Out 2 should do okay. I'm like, well, will it? Because, again, Lightyear should have been money in the bank, and nobody saw what a disaster the movie was going to wind up being ultimately. But they said Soul, Luca, and Turning Red all went to streaming, and then Lightyear was a massive crash. They said that was mid-June. It was a Toy Story spinoff. It crash-landed with audiences.
I wasn't surprised. We all said it was going to probably crash land because it was like it wasn't Buzz flipping Lightyear.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It had only a $50 million opening weekend, well below expectations, resulting in a $118 million domestic run. So that's total. The lowest ever performance for a Pixar title to have enjoyed an uninterrupted wide release. So when they're saying that they're projecting $80 to $115 million opening weekend for Inside Out 2, I'm kind of chuckling to myself because I'm like, I don't see how. Even though people liked Inside Out, it wasn't like Toy Story. It wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like The Incredibles. It wasn't like the biggest thing ever. It's like people remember it, and then
they are talking domestic too. I want to make sure it's clear. Like globally, it might do better than this. This is just domestic numbers.
Well, they said that's what, domestic opening, because they said Elemental actually did do okay in the long run after it played.
Right, internationally, it did well. Yes,
countries. Right. It said recent history doesn't paint a hopeful picture for Inside Out 2, which is scheduled to come out on the same weekend that Lightyear came out before and Elemental came out before that. It's also going to be competing against If, which is, I guess, doing pretty good this weekend, and Garfield.
I'm not going to lie. None of these seem appealing to me, but that's just me. The only one, If seems the most appealing to me.
They said neither of those titles has shown pre-release tracking figures that suggest a theatrical run past 150. The only one that broke that this year so far was Kung Fu Panda 4, but it was only 200 million. Remember when these movies used to open like domestically to that?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm like. These numbers look so dismal because, that was like a regular opening weekend, Yeah. And these it might hit these high numbers, in its whole run. And I'm like, that's an opening weekend. I was confused.
Yeah. Our outlook for NSD 2's opening weekend, is less dire than the context around it. But what they're trying to do, I think they're trying to temper expectations. Actually, this story was posted yesterday and then it disappeared and then it came back. And I think they messed with it because I think they're kind of trying to like temper people's expectations. Like, this is what the early projections are, but we also had early projections that were good for Lightyear. And we had early projections for like the Marvels that were good. We had all these movies that were supposed to be really good at the box office, and they all wound up being freaking duds.
Well, they're like, because Inside Out, the original one did okay. It did really well in 2015.
10 years ago.
It did great 9 years ago, which would have put it well over the 100 million, opening. They're like, this is one will probably do good because Inside Out 2, and it's like, but you're thinking people are going to go just because it's Inside Out 2. If they think it looks like shit, they're not going to go even if it's Inside Out 2. We've learned this.
Yeah, and look, not to be that guy, but they're talking about, I guess it comes out Father's Day weekend. Okay, that's great.
They already started selling tickets. I know that because I got notifications.
Well, I think that's why they're talking about it now. But the thing is that a lot of parents are actively keeping their children away from anything Disney. And if this movie has any messaging in it that some parents are going to disagree with,
they might wait till it comes out to see what's in it before they take their kids.
I'm just saying it is what it is, right?
But they're saying it's tracking ahead of If in the Garfield movie, but they're saying that they think it's going to be at least 10% behind the original Inside Out, which only did 90 million. So that's going to be like 80 million. They're expecting it to be for opening weekend.
Yeah, so it's I don't know, guys, because a lot is riding on this. A lot of media outlets, not just the alt-right Nazis on YouTube, but a lot of mainstream media outlets are talking about the utter state of Pixar. And if Inside Out 2 is not a hit, I think that's the end of Pixar as its own entity. Because I can't see Disney being like, yeah, we cannot let you guys keep making movies that are going to cost us hundreds of millions of dollars and pay all these salaries and pay for this campus in San Francisco. We're just going to merge these two studios together and we'll release the Toy Story movies under the Walt Disney Animation.
Or they'll just start sending it someplace else.
Yeah, that's the other, I was losing my voice there for a little bit because I'm yelling about Disney. Oh, I'm a chud. No, but like, yeah, they will. They'll just be like, yeah, we'll send it to India. We'll send it to Canada. We'll send it someplace else. You guys don't have to make these movies anymore. Especially, I mean, this is like anti-money. It's like you guys are dumping hundreds of millions of dollars into animated movies. It's just failure after failure after failure. And even if this one does good, well, 1 out of 10.
Well, the flip side is if it turns out that it's people, start getting some more trailers out and you get some, people trust saying it's good, it could go the other way. It could do better than they expected. I mean, this one I'm not, as it is, I don't think it's going to do great. If I see more to make me think that they're going to actually go back to like what works and they're not going to try to push agenda and they're going to just tell a good story that resonates with people, then they might do better than that. Because people are desperately wanting something good.
Yes, but let me paint a picture for you. This is
also a Disney Pixar.
This is a Disney Pixar movie that takes place in San Francisco and is about puberty.
You know what? I'm just saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. My expectations are very, very low. But what I'm saying is, if it came in and they actually were able to recreate what they had with Inside Out originally, I could see it doing well just because people are desperate for good entertainment.
Yeah.
However, I didn't say that I think that they're going to do that. I'm saying if it does that, it could do well. I know it's Disney and Pixar and mandates and stuff, and this has been in the works for a while, so it probably hasn't been one of the projects that, are course corrected. I don't have high hopes, but I'm just saying, if it turns out to be good, it could really do well just because people are desperate for good entertainment.
I was just sitting here thinking, like, God, it would be hysterical if, Riley's down the street practicing her hockey and she's like, slapping freaking turds and hypodermic needles and shit.
They're not going to do that.
I think it's always going to be 2015.
I don't think they're going to have Riley tucking either, but we can never know.
That would be Outside In. That's a different movie. That's probably the original pitch. But I don't know, guys. We'll see. I'm thinking 50 to 60 million. I'm good ballpark.
I think if it's more of the same, it's not going to do well. If it turns out that it's actually, back to basics family movie, I think it could do better than expectations just because people really, really want something good. But then again, Garfield and them aren't doing well either, so who knows? I honestly give up trying to figure it out anymore because if it's Disney, it's probably going to turn out to be shit. So there you go.
There you go, guys. We're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.